This is Nick from Cigar&Whiskey, and these guys are brand new-ish to the scene, and I think the fog's been hiding me from them, and probably for a lot of us. These are two members from the Fog Blues and Horn band, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a brass band, yeah.
The brass band. Well, that's even better because there's no other band with the word horn in it that just came out at the same time.
You're right, there is, yeah.
So on the right, we've got Hill.
I'm Hills.
And the other one with the nifty T-shirt is Dan. Two members of the 8 or 9 member group, right?
7 member now. Yes.
7 at the
7. Okay, so from what I read quickly over all the interviews that you did and all the information that was made available, you started in 2015, right?
Yeah. So the core band, 5 guys, started back in 2015.
Yeah.
I came along. You guys were late 2015, right?
Yeah, late 2015.
Like December 2015. And then somewhere in April is when I joined up with them. So, 6 months or something? Yeah.
And out of all the artists, can you give us a lineup of what musical instruments you always bring or that you tend to bring?
Sure.
Yeah. So Hills is always the lead vocalist. We never swap out spots, by the way.
Okay.
We're not that kind of band that would just transfer instruments over. Anyways, yeah, Hills is lead singer.
Play a little harmonica as well.
Yeah. And some percussion when needed on stage. And I'm the tenor saxophone player.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Doblansky is the alto saxophone player. Tim Pelser is the guitar player. Al Hosak is the bass player. Dominic Danino is the drummer. And Bobby Becker is our keyboardist.
Sweet.
Extraordinaire.
Well, from what I heard, unfortunately, I only got into your new album and I went back in time to actually see the other album. You guys have grown greatly in the past pandemic.
Yeah.
From what I remember reading, and you can correct me on this, 12-bar prescription was written specifically during COVID, but you couldn't record it until they relaxed the restrictions.
Exactly.
Not quite. So
Not quite. Okay.
12-bar prescription. Are you talking the song itself or the album?
The song itself.
The song itself. Okay. So the song itself was actually written before the pandemic, probably in early 2019.
Yep.
Was when we put that together. Now, it became our opening number, and we used it in Memphis when we went down to the International Blues Challenge.
Oh, nice.
So that was the one we kind of solidified down there in the States. And then we came back, of course, 1st of February, we got back from Memphis. And then in March, obviously, the world shut down.
Yeah, and in fact, on our way back from Memphis, when I took my flight back, we had to fill out the actual paperwork for COVID. You know,
COVID
that was
symptoms and stuff.
and that was the first time they had brought that into the airplanes. You know, so we came back and there were masks everywhere.
They were still flying, but they were contract tracing at that point. But yeah, so when we got back, I mean, we didn't even have a chance to record it. The world shut down. So during that time, we just basically, started file sharing and sending song ideas back and forth while we were locked down. And it was like we could still kind of write and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just started hammering the songs once we were able to get back together, which if you see my place, there used to be a lot more plastic dividers in here, but you can still kind of see one over there.
Okay.
call them sneeze guards now. But I basically, we have a PA system that allows us to essentially
like a studio.
Yeah, essentially rehearse as if we're recording in a studio. So
Okay.
if you look behind me here, our keyboard player sits back there. I sit over there. Another sax player is just over here. That's this room.
Okay.
The next room, there's 3 more guys. And then there's a small room in the corner that I've cut a window out of.
And that's where we put Tim.
And our guitar player's in there. Yeah. So none of us, like, at first, none of us really had a sight line on each other. Us in here did, but nobody's got a sight line on the drummer except for the bass player at the time. And so I kind of like opened it up a little bit, put more clear plastic so those guys could kind of communicate with each other across, visually. So when it's a little tough to end a song when you can't see your drummer. You're trying to like anticipate when he's going to hit. But
you get better.
You get better at it. You just start to read each other's minds after a while. So
the chemistry comes in at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the engineer of our first CD said it's fantastic to come in and record you guys simply because we got that good and efficient in the actual studio type atmosphere that he just plugged in and he recorded us right down here. So
nice.
Yeah.
That's Tom, right? The engineer?
The original engineer for Into the Fog was John Beadle Bailey. And then we moved on to work with Roby Banerjee, who did some work with the Rolling Stones and who else did he?
Etta James.
Etta James, yeah. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Big Sugar. Linda Ronstadt.
I mean, John Bailey worked with a plethora of the Canadian talent as well, right? So you'll know him for Molly Johnson. He won a Juno for that, and a Grammy with the Cuban.
Alex Cuba.
Alex Cuba, which I met here in Moncton too. So
wonderful, super talent, wonderful.
So with this new album, I'm assuming that you're going to be touring. So any plans of going full out big throughout the country, or is it just going to be something more local?
For now, we're staying more local. We'd love to tour, but I think I don't know if we'd all die on tour or not, because like nobody would be feeding us properly, or we'd have to go with a crew of chiropractor, PSWs, and massage therapists and stuff just to keep us going. But
it's like the term money rules, right?
Yeah.
Kitchener, like we have the Kitchener Blues Festival, which I believe is the largest free festival in Canada, isn't it?
I believe so. I think that's something that I've heard many times.
Right.
So
actually, I think you're right, Hilt.
So during COVID, we actually got the fortune of playing 2 different Crossroads festivals, which were a dumbed down version of their Kitchener Blues Festival. So that was kind of neat for us, because we still got to get that live stage, and that was cool.
Yeah.
So I know the album's available right now. It's available on Spotify. It's probably available also on the Amazon Music as well.
Yeah,
and
pretty much all the digital outlets I think you can get it at. Yeah.
All the digital platforms, yeah.
And probably Apple Music as well.
Yes.
If you guys want to see or hear them, you have to go to Hamilton for the moment. But if you want to hear them and read about them, they've got a website, which is
www.fogblues.com.
And you can get a lot of their material, a lot of their links to their YouTube, the Amazon playlist, and a whole bunch of other goodies that you'll love. If you prefer getting access to something physical, I think you guys have CDs available. Is this?
We do. That's the new one. Yeah.
Plans on doing any vinyl?
You know what? Like right now, vinyl's like, the waiting list is I've heard is close to a year to get vinyl right now.
Really?
I might be wrong on that. The last I heard, and this has been a long time. Plus, a lot of places aren't doing vinyl much anymore because it is like extremely toxic chemicals, right?
Yeah.
So
We do have one manufacturer in Toronto, and I think the waiting list is about 2 years.
at least I think from this side, anyways. Probably in the States, you can probably get stuff faster, but
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't have a record player, so for me, it's mostly digital. It's the easiest way for me to give the chance to people like you who do music, who write it, who sing it, and want to share their talent to actually play it on the air. And
Yeah.
if what I've been told for me is true, I'll be nationwide starting around September by doing
Awesome.
podcasts that are distributed to all the francophone music stations.
Excellent. That's fantastic.
Congratulations.
Sadly, when it comes to French, a lot of the blues music comes from talented English folk. Mostly because even the Quebecers or the ones that speak French as their primary language tend to shy away from actually building a repertoire that's made at least 50% French. I mean, and it's
Oh, wow.
working for one, and a whole bunch of other people that are well known in Quebec.
Well, back
They
years
really didn't do it. So
back years ago, I played rock and roll, and I came up that way, Montreal, Quebec, and sort of like Cowansville and Granby and that type of thing. And when we came up there, all I can say is the people up there are the best. Like the music, like they just loved coming out to see the band. I think I went out with new friends every night to go out to eat after, which was 4 o'clock in the morning, which we don't have that kind of a night scene here anymore, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get home to bed by 11. So I hope you guys are still rocking it up and partying up there and doing the 4 o'clock in the morning thing,
more than likely, although I'm not, a lot of used to be behaviors have changed due to what happened during the 3 years of COVID and the pandemic, and then after flares and everything else. A lot of businesses who thrived are either dead, deceased, closed, or changed to a new model.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that as much as the music scene kind of literally shut down because the venues were no longer accepting, they were closed temporarily. A lot of the places were not doing what they were used to, and they suffered for it greatly.
Yeah.
The musicians got a little bit of respite, as much as it was hard on them as well, but it also meant that they could spend time with family or spend time doing what you guys did, which was doing a lot of collaborative work on your music, your lyrics. From what I've remember reading, it's a team effort for all of you based on what you've done in the past 2 albums.
Oh,
There's
100%.
It's the whole band that's writing these songs. Everyone gives their own input at one point or another to tweak it or to modify it to suit something that you're trying to put in.
Our bass player Al says we're a true band, and so many people are fronted by a specific individual, and that's the band, right? Mm-hmm. However, we're really a band. We're like, just like
when you see us live, it's this lineup, unless somebody's really ill and we have to beg somebody to come fill in, but that hasn't happened yet. We haven't had the situation where we've had to call in a sub for anything yet.
We have had a bucket once.
Yeah,
but he made it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like this is a band thing. We rehearse, once, twice a week sometimes, depending on what we're doing. Mm-hmm. We basically see each other 52 weeks of the year.
Oh, okay.
Right. I think we probably spend more time together than we spend with our wives at times. So that's another that's another little thing that's tough to negotiate sometimes. But
I know. Well, right now you guys are all based around and in Hamilton, but have you all
Kitchener, actually.
come Kitchener?
Yeah,
Okay.
Kitchener,
Yeah.
Cambridge, more or less. Hamilton's just a jump down the road, but yeah.
Okay.
We're all
And are you all from the same town, or did you all move to that particular location at one point or another?
So
most of us are in Kitchener right
yeah,
now. Yeah.
Hills is in Kitchener. I'm in Cambridge.
Tim's and Guelph.
Tim's in Guelph, which is like, maybe 30 minutes from here.
And
Okay.
our new
Our-
Dominic is here.
Is
in Cambridge.
Cambridge. Al's in Breslau, which is just like pretty much Kitchener anyways. And the other guys live in Waterloo. So we're all close. We're all within, 30 minutes.
Yeah, about 30 minutes.
So
you know.
you're very very close.
Yeah.
The one question that I didn't find really was, when did you guys start playing, other than 2015 becoming the band? I mean, everyone starts playing at one point or another. So what what age would you say that you started actually looking and investing
Oh.
yourself into becoming a talented musician or writer or singer?
I grew up with music myself, so I started singing in a choir at 7 here in Cambridge, actually, working under a fellow named Eric Dudney. So I was on the radio by 7 years of age, and I just kept working on it. Went into a jazz choir and moved on from there. So pretty much the rest of the band we're all young, right, when they started.
Oh yeah, I think everybody in the band was real young when they started playing. I mean, for me, I think I was, well, the first time I knew I was gonna be a musician or wanted to be a musician was at probably about 7 or 8 years old. My mom took me to an Elton John concert in Toronto, and I just remember that. And turns out, oddly enough,
We both went to the same concert.
we were both at the same concert. We didn't know each other at the time, but we were both. What, you were there too?
I was
man,
12 at that time. So.
Yeah. So, and then Bobby's probably he's our oldest member at 72, 73. He just
73
turned,
this
he
year.
just
Yeah,
turned
just
73. He's pretty much got the drive of a 14-year-old.
He's got a history. Like he was back with Yukon years ago, which was Big Band was the first white band out of Canada to get a contract with the Funk Brothers down in Detroit.
Nice.
Yeah, with
Sussex Records.
Sussex, Sussex. Doing, what was their big hit? Something of sorrow. Anyways,
there's two. But yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I can't remember.
That's okay.
We both have Alzheimer's too. So.
Yeah, research it for sure. We're hoping that Bobby actually does his book. He's been writing, but I don't know. We gotta try and squeeze him like a tube of toothpaste and see if we can get everything onto paper.
Yeah.
So we're working on it.
So
but everybody started young in this band. Everybody was pre-teen or teen when they got interested in music. So
sweet. Now, as a band, you're also human beings. So I've got two questions that are off the wall, but I've been asking everyone that I've done interviews with, big and small. So for both of you, do you have any hobbies?
I would say my job is my hobby. This is what I do for a living. I don't know what. So I'm a music teacher in the Long and McQuaid system here in Waterloo. That's my kind of day-to-day earning. Also, I'm a freelance musician as well. I don't just play with Fog. Fog's my main thing. It's always priority. But I take gigs with other bands for, their original music or even
and money.
Yeah, and
There's that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and weddings are pretty lucrative to play. So
for myself, hobby wise, it's always been messing around with video and working with video, but slowly but surely, like I've been creating the actual word videos. So Why Get Up? I created that video at home, and what was the other one? 12-bar prescription.
Yeah.
And we've done a couple of other videos that we did some editing with, and
we did some live stuff that we recorded, and Hills edited it all down, and mix the mix.
It gets
audio
better
and
each
stuff.
time, right? It's getting better. So
Well, we're learning
It's
more.
like learning to sing. It's a slow
yeah,
process, and then you get bugs, and then you have to kill the bugs, and then you
yeah,
have to restart and reformat your system.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, exactly. Totally.
Last question is probably a little bit weirder than just asking for hobbies. It's what would you say in your own minds, from what you have as your own personal taste for food, is your favorite dish?
Wow. You're killing me here because I got diagnosed a celiac a couple of years ago. So all of
Oh no.
my favorite dishes are gone. I can't
Oh,
even
okay.
eat them anymore. So now a good steak is about it for me. What about you?
Well,
You got an
So
exotic taste.
I mean, obviously I've eaten a couple things in my life, but um, yeah, no, I'm my heritage is I'm part I'm part Maltese, which I think is very close to Italy, and
mhm.
the other part of me is Ukrainian and Czechoslovakian. So I would say my favorite dishes. Obviously, I can't pick one. Would be pierogies
Mhm.
or any kind of pasta dish. So I don't know if that's being adjacent to Italy, being close to Malta, and Czechoslovakia is definitely the pierogi thing and whatever. So I would say those two things, but I'm clearly not averse to many other types of food and stuff. So
Well, this gives a good ending to this particular interview. So, Dan Hills, thank you so much for taking time off of your music practice or your music setup. I wish that I would be there to actually see it, but
Oh,
this is as good as gold for me for the moment being.
well,
awesome.
if you ever come down this way, let us know.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll,
definitely.
We'll
Thank you
throw the
so much.
hospitality card out for sure.
yeah.
Well, folks, as you've heard, these are two of the big members from
Oh yeah,
Fog Blues Band and our Blues and
Brass.
brass.
Brass Band.
There you go.
Fog Blues and Brass Band.
Okay, thank you,
All right.
Romero.
Thank you. Thank you so much.